Hey everyone, this week's First Chapter Friday is The Buried by Melissa Gray. So, this is going to be a survival dystopian style book. So, if you're a fan of The Hunger Games or The Giver or really any sort of dystopian fiction like The Maze Runner, you'll probably really enjoy this. So, here we go. It actually begins with a quote from 1984 by George Orwell, which you will probably read when you get to high school. "We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness." Prologue, the blessed dark. What the light gives, the light can also take away. That was how every morning began in the bunker. The three families gathered in the common area. It multitasked harder than any other room, serving as a play area, relaxation space, and town hall for its populace of 12. The bunker itself, a massive labyrinthine affair with twisting corridors that led to nowhere and doors that opened into solid stone walls, provided more than enough square footage for each soul who lived in it to lose themselves. But the common area felt like the safest, sanest space within its confines. The walls were decorated with the artwork of a generation of children, and a large board detailing chores occupied half of the far wall. The chore board, such a mundane scrap of life, stood at their backs, guarding the spectacle before it with silent detachment. At the front of the room, on a dais raised a few inches off the ground, stood an almost frighteningly thin woman. The loose crimson gown she wore hung off of her slender form. The belt that cinched all the fabric tight at her waist only served to accentuate the protruding shoulder blades and the sharp cut of her collarbone. Wiry muscle corded over the jagged edges of her skeleton, sparing her from looking truly malnourished. Her hollow cheeks glowed with conviction, making her strikingly beautiful in that moment. "It is our most fundamental truth," Dr. Moran said, her deep eyes settling on each person in front of her before drifting to the glass dome on the dais' pedestal. "Light gives us life. It nourishes our plants and warms our earth." One long-fingered hand settled atop the glass dome. Its presence seemed to agitate the dome's occupant, a solitary, fat beetle. Where the beetle had come from, no one really knew. The good doctor seemed to have creatures of its sort in ample supply, always ready for demonstration. The beetle's antennae twitched, rubbing against its glass prison as if testing for escape routes. But there were none. "But we must never forget the danger the light presents to us." Moran's other hand drifted slowly, gracefully, toward a switch to her left. The tips of her fingers brushed it, and her audience of 12 held its breath. "The light gives us life." Her grip on the switch tightened, "and the light takes it away." She rotated her hand, cranking the switch clockwise. The sound came first, a mechanical whirring as a series of mirrors rotated into place. Each mirror reflected a stolen ray of sunlight, carrying it down, deep into the earth, beneath layers and layers of soil and stone until it reached the glass dome. The beetle twitched at first as the light hit it, and then it writhed as the light intensified into a single unforgiving beam. Time stretched lugubriously before them as they watched the beetle's final throes. Eventually, the insect stopped moving, its body limp and smoking beneath the glass. Silence, as deep and impenetrable as the ground bearing down on the bunker, filled the room. Then Dr. Moran looked up. She smiled. One by one, nearly every member of her audience smiled too, shakily at first, but then with relief. They were down here. The sun was all the way up there, where it couldn't hurt them. They were protected. They were safe. Moran cranked the switch in the opposite direction, sealing off the reflected light. The room lapsed once more into the soft artificial glow of the light fixtures cleverly nestled in the walls. "And in this," Moran said, her voice filling that thick silence with a resonance that odds with her frail form, "we are reminded of the mercy of the blessed dark." So it is dystopian. There's a lot of mystery going on in here because you're not really sure why these people are living underground. You're not sure how Dr. Moran has gotten all of this control over them. And so as you work through the novel, you really kind of understand what's happening in this weird new society and why these people are living underground, totally isolated, and kind of what happened to the world above. Come by the library and check it out.